What's going on, Jets fans? Welcome into the Jets Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, I wanted to pivot away from the head coach and GM search talk and focus in on the NFL draft. So coming up on today's show, I got 5 players that your New York Jets could possibly take at pick 7, and then also the last player I'm going to discuss is going to be a quarterback if the Jets do decide to possibly land their franchise guy in this year's draft class. But before we dive into it, if you guys could subscribe here to the channel, we're actually less than 20 subscribers away from 1,000 subs here. So if you guys could help us out, hit that subscribe button. Really does go a long way, just pushing this video out to more and more Jets fans. So if you guys could hit that sub button, lock us in as your go-to Jets YouTube channel. But speak about the draft. Let's first off talk about the draft order here. So the Tennessee Titans did lock up the first overall pick, and then we pivot to the Cleveland Browns at pick number 2. Then it goes to our other New York team, the Giants at pick number 3. Then the New England Patriots at pick 4. The Jags at 5. Raiders 6. And then the Jets are at pick 7. So if I had to kind of go quick mock draft here, I'm assuming the Titans will take a quarterback, assuming the Browns would just take BPA at that spot. Then the Giants, they're high on a quarterback. But the Patriots, Jags won't take a QB. And then the Raiders probably are going to take a QB depending on who's there. But then that leaves the Jets at a spot, in my opinion, to get a stud at that number 7 selection. So the first guy we're going to talk about here, and he might be my number 1 player on my draft board, and that's going to be defensive tackle Mason Graham. Now, what I love about this guy, he plays with a super, super high motor, and in 39 career games played at the University of Michigan, this guy has been a stud. 108 tackles, 3 PBUs, 9 sacks. Now, he's not going to stuff the stat sheet, but really his impact is felt on the All-22 film. When you go in there and you break down that tape and you watch how impactful he is on every single play, it is, in my opinion, the second highest in terms of the whole class. And, here's my take on Mason Graham. I think he's the second best player in this draft class behind a guy like Travis Hunter. And could you imagine a defensive line where you got to deal with Mason Graham and Quinnen Williams? I don't hate that selection at pick number 7 for the Jets. But let's stay on the defensive line here, and let's get to a guy who really upped his value over the last couple of games, Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter. Now, Abdul Carter's a stud, man. He's very versatile as well. He started off his career playing some Mike linebacker, then they shifted him to an edge, but we saw it in this last game, Penn State versus Notre Dame. He was all over the football field. And he's a sack machine. 22 career sacks in 41 games played. He's a playmaker as well with 5 forced fumbles, 39 TFLs, and he is truly a game wrecker at that defensive edge spot. And what I was just saying about Mason Graham and Quinnen Williams, well, could you imagine a D-line of Abdul Carter and Quinnen Williams? I love that combination. And even if the Jets don't end up going quarterback this year's draft, just because, one, I don't think this is a loaded draft class at the quarterback position by any means, but there are some blue chippers specifically on that defensive line. So if you kind of want to make, a positive part of your team even better, the Jets will have a ton of options. But I got Abdul Carter at number 2 for me. I think he's a stud, and he's going to be making a lot of money playing in the NFL. But let's kick it to a weapon here, and let's go Tetairoa McMillan. We'll call him T-Mac on today's show. But Tetairoa, he is an absolute stud. Big body, 6'5", a great 50-50 catch guy. You really just throw the ball up to him, and he can go make plays. And listen, I don't think the Jets are going to be fully targeting a wide receiver at pick 7, but if you guys remember, Garrett Wilson, he was kind of flirting with the idea of being traded this offseason, and with the unknown of Devontae Adams, will he be returning to the New York Jets? Maybe wide receiver could be a bigger position of need than we originally thought. But I got Tetairoa at number 3 for me as in terms of who I think the Jets could take at pick number 7. But speaking of pick number 7, what would you do? Would you draft a wide receiver at pick 7? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Give me a D for a draft or give me a P for pass. All right, let's get the number 4 on this list. I'm going to go with Will Johnson here. Now, Will Johnson in and out of the lineup for the Michigan Wolverines this past season. But, I honestly think corner, and you guys may be saying to yourself, well, we got DJ Reed, we got Sauce Gardner. Well, DJ Reed has completely left that door open of him possibly leaving in free agency. So if that is the case, I would love this pickup. Will Johnson, he's a playmaker on that side of the field. He kind of reminds me of a better version of Trayvon Diggs. He's got great instincts. He's super sticky, and he's super fluid in coverage where he can guard almost every route. He is truly one of the best cornerbacks, if not the best cornerback in this year's draft. So the only way I'm doing this is if you do lose DJ Reed in free agency, which you will get that answer before the NFL draft, don't be shocked. Do not be shocked if something happens at the cornerback position where the New York Jets will possibly target Will Johnson at pick 7. But let's talk about, the guy you probably, clicked on this video for. And that's going to be Miami quarterback Cam Ward. Now, I think Cam Ward is the best quarterback in this year's class, better than Shedeur Sanders. Now, with the position the Jets are in, let's just say Aaron Rodgers gives word to the front office that he will not be returning, and whether that's him retiring or him going, to another NFL team, the Jets could be in prime position to get a quarterback. Now, I think to land Cam Ward, you're probably going to have to trade up with the Cleveland Browns to pick number 2. I don't think the Giants would trade back with you. I don't think the Titans would trade back with you. And if you want to guarantee your spot to get a quarterback, assuming it does go Shedeur Sanders at 1 to the Titans, Cam Ward would not be a bad choice by any means for that pick for the New York Jets. But let's just take a look at his numbers here. And we got some advanced passing stats for you guys. So big-time throw percentage, according to PFF, was 5.7% of his throws. Turnover-worthy play percentage, pretty high compared to his other, classmates at 3.1%. But adjusted completion percentage, 76.3. His ADOT is 9.8 yards. So clearly, he likes to push that ball down the field. But we got even more advanced stats for you guys on Cam Ward. So when he's kept clean, in the pocket, no pressure. He was one of the best quarterbacks in college football this past season. 71.8% completion percentage and throwing for 32 touchdowns and just 3 interceptions. And like I just said, big-time throw percentage, that stays about the same when kept clean, but that turnover-worthy play percentage drops down to 1.5. Then if you guys look at that line under it, under pressure, the turnover-worthy play percentage skyrockets. So this is going to be a guy, you're going to have to keep him clean, but maybe this could end up changing with the way he develops throughout the league. But I'm a big fan of Cam Ward. I love his release, and clearly he is pretty damn good at pushing the ball down the field, but he can be the check down guy. He can dink and dunk his way up and down the field. 92.7% completion percentage on throws behind the line of scrimmage, 0 to 9 air yards, 76.1, and then pushing the ball 20-plus air yards down the field. He had 14 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. Now his picks come in that intermediate zone, 10 to 19 air yards, had 11 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions. But clearly this guy, he's a boomer bust player. And I kind of like that for the Jets, and I think he could step into New York and truly be a household name here. So I'm a big fan of him, but again, it will have to require the Jets trading up. But we'll close today's show out with this. You're on the clock. Should the Jets trade up for a quarterback? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no down below in the comments section. And thank you guys so much for watching today's edition of the Jets Report. Make sure you hit that sub button. See you guys next time. Go Jets.